So here we go with the second dashboard in our Skill Corners WebApp Lab, obviously available in the same languages as the player scouting section. We will see there are many things in common between the player scouting and the team profiling dashboards. First thing to do here, other than reading the general information about the team profiling dashboard, is to load the seasonal competitions you want to scout in. So if dashboard number 1, player scouting, was focused on players, individual players, now we are actually looking at teams and specific behaviors of different teams across different leagues. In our case, we load the big 5 leagues for last season, 24-25, and we actually access 3 different scouting tools. You can see again that the names and the way they work are really close to the player scouting, to the ones available in the player scouting. You can obviously filter teams. We are going to keep all the teams featuring in the big 5 leagues. And as in the past, we choose to use the sample ranking. So we want to compare clubs across the whole sample, across the whole big 5 leagues, and not just clubs against clubs of the same league. We have a metric guide, which is obviously specifically featuring the metrics available for the teams, the ones that we have built to analyze team. And then the data table, again, actually works as the data table in the player scouting section. So we have different type of metrics, including physical metrics, average physical metrics for players in a specific club, in possession phase time, out of possession phase time, in possession phase outcomes, out of possession phase outcomes, in possession phase progression, out of possession phase progressions, in possession team shape, and out of possession team shape. You can find all the different definitions in the metric guide, and obviously these belong to our physical and game intelligence package specifically designed for team profiling. So let's say, for example, that in our table where all the clubs that we have loaded, so all the clubs participating in the big 5 leagues are present, we want to see which clubs are most dominant. So which clubs spend most of their in possession time in the finish phase, so in the final third, dominating the opponent. Let's say 90th percentile, because we want to see which are the most dominant teams in the big 5 leagues. And again, we find a list which makes sense, which is really close and passes the eye test. So for last season, we have clubs like Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, Barcelona, and so on. Again, we can do different things here, include team information or the ranking instead of the absolute, so the percentile ranking instead of the absolute value of each specific metric, and we can select which metrics we want to visualize in our table. So for example, we just don't want to show the team info, and we want to keep the in possession phase time only. So we deselect all the different type of metrics, and we keep just the in possession phase time, and we see which are the absolute values or the ranking, depending on what we want to check of in the different metrics for the specific club. Another thing we can do, just as it says here, we can click on a specific club to show the team report, just like we did for players in the player scouting section. So we click on Arsenal, for example, and we get all the different metrics for the club, be it physical, in possession phase time, out of possession phase time, and so on. So all the different type of metrics that are included in our WebApp Lab.